Hey guys, thank you so much for watching the Replayer podcast. If you like what you see, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe to us on YouTube to stay up to date with all of our latest content. If you want to support the show, you can do that too by clicking on the support link in the description box below.
Thanks, Pagan. If you guys want to support us, you can get started for as little as $1 a month. All soup will be put towards improving the podcast and helping us keep doing what we love, meeting replayers. You can get started by going to anchor.fm/thereplayerpodcast/support or click on the link in the show notes. Thank you.
Do you see how stressed she is? She drank alcohol before this podcast.
And it's
I was going to
strong.
have a drink while we were doing the podcast, but I was like,
I started drinking coffee again.
I thought you were going to say I started drinking, like as in like 9:30 in the morning. I was like, well, that's starting early. Committed.
We don't drink anyway.
Shimmy those tits.
worked that good.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Replayer podcast. I'm Pagan, your host this week's episode. We're gonna do something a little special this week. As you can see, we have some of the finest retro replay couples here with us today, including my co-host Dan and his lovely girlfriend Brandy.
Hi.
Oh, just a little like, just checking it's still there. And no stranger to the show, our residential guest Greg Bergner is here with his lovely fiance Sarah. Hello. We finally have Sarah on the show.
All right, now Greg and Brandy can leave because that's what we're here for, is Sarah.
Bye. Care. I'm out.
Commit to the bet.
This was literally, I feel like we've discussed this since the first episode.
I think so.
Like, we have tried to get you on here. Well, you know what I mean? Like,
tried.
Since you guys have been together, it was like, let's get Sarah on the show. Okay.
And Gary was like, no, it's all about me. So
basically,
that's not happening because I never got asked.
At least you understand now that
Like,
it's all about
everyone
me.
went to Greg and Greg said no.
The plot thickens.
Pretty
We should have
sure
just
I
come
didn't
straight
say
to you,
no.
Sarah.
No, he said
God.
Sarah's not really into that. And I went, thank you.
You're like, you don't.
This is a very big deal for Sarah because usually, to be honest, in all fairness, she doesn't like camera stuff that much. So this is a big deal for her to come on.
Well, what about when we didn't do camera and it was all audio?
But she's so adorable. Everybody needs
you're
to see
so
that
pretty.
face.
Yeah, agree. We're honored to have you here as a very special guest, Sarah.
Considering
We're
the
super happy
fact
to
that
have you.
when I first got introduced to Retro Replay, one of the first things I saw when I joined the community was a picture of Greg and Sarah's face. You were literally one of the first faces I've ever seen in the community.
I mean, that's the best way to be introduced into the show is seeing our face.
Greg and Sarah's face. Yeah, sure. I feel like somebody one day is going to be like, well, how did I find the Retro Replay community? I saw a picture of Greg and Sarah, and I followed that through to the Retro Replay community. We'd be like, yes, this makes sense.
We're the gateway drug to Retro Replay.
Greg, you're the great gateway
No,
drug to
Greg,
many
that's
things.
this podcast.
That's true, I am.
So we usually start off, Sarah, I don't know if you know, we usually start off with sort of like a guest questionnaire and just to find out a little bit how you found the show and how you found the community. So how did you find Retro Replay and get involved in this online community?
I found Troy through Nolan, even though I knew Troy's music before I knew who Troy was, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I had the song Afterglow on I think it actually came on an iPod, secondhand iPod. You know, the old school ones that I bought, and it was like on there. Yeah, because I don't know how the song. It's only that one song, and I don't know how it ended up on there because I didn't buy it. I don't know how I found it. It was just there, and then I bought an Uncharted 4 PlayStation because I'm cost effective and looking for a bargain because it was cheaper than buying a new one, and I didn't know what Uncharted
So
was.
proud of her being a businesswoman.
It was
Great.
it was $90 cheaper and came with a game, and I went, okay, it's ugly with blue and some like guy on it, but sure, why not?
Some guy
and
on
then
it.
had to buy the other game.
Yeah,
some
person.
And then I realized that Nolan was the Dick Dad in Pretty Little Liars, and my mind was like, blown.
Ding.
I was like, no, not that guy that Dick Dad, but that's okay.
Please
and then
tell
I
me
found
that's his
Troy.
name in the show, and the credits is Dick Dad.
No,
Dick
I don't
Dad.
think
Dad.
Yeah, I feel like that's
One
his
season.
official credit there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's seen-
on IMDb,
Yeah.
I'm for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then so then I
Dick Dad.
Pretty little
followed them
liars.
on
Dick
their
Dad.
socials, and when they started the show, I was all on board because I used to go into Troy's Insta live streams when he was playing his music and stuff. So I guess I was always following him on Instagram, and then I found the show that way. But it was interesting because like before we all knew each other, there'd be like Grace would be in there, and we'd all be like commenting before we all knew who we were.
That's cool.
Each other, yeah. So that's kind of cool to look back on them and like, you were there.
And then live chats happened, and then everybody was there, and
Yeah.
now we're all together.
Yeah. So that's how I found it, and then obviously Greg and I met in live chat and started to game together and stuff.
Oh, that's nice. What episode did you guys meet in? Do you know?
No, but the one that we gamed together where he waited 7 hours for me, where it was like his 2 a.m. because I wasn't ready after the show, was the GoldenEye episode.
Okay.
That was almost a year ago. 'Cause it was like 7th of May or something.
Right. And what did you
'Cause
play
they've been
together online?
Before that, like once before that, which I don't really remember. Oh, I remember.
No,
Was
we
it
played
Uncharted or something?
GoldenEye was when we were going to play.
Yeah.
Because I
No, we
actually
played once before that though.
Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
played twice, but
Yeah.
I thought we played after the first time after the GoldenEye episode.
Oh.
We played 7 hours after the GoldenEye episode.
That's what it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, that was the first. Yeah,
And then afterward, he was like, and Shiny was there too. She joined us.
yeah, she did.
And then Shiny and I
Crazy
continued to
fangirl.
play because you left. And then
Yes.
you were still you're on Discord afterward. And so we
I was still
started
up. That was when I was not
I didn't
sleeping
know.
and I was staying up all night.
Oh, I see.
Crazy fangirl. Name drop.
chatting.
Playing on the
Hear me
intro.
either.
Shiny.
No.
Cute.
Yeah, we actually talked a little before that, the GoldenEye. Like,
yeah, a little bit.
she gave me a sassy response, believe it or not. This one can be a ball of sass.
Of course.
She was talking
Of
about
course.
she was talking about Lost Legacy because I was like, you know, because I saw her and stuff, and I would try to say hi to her, and along obviously with everyone else, and I was like, hey, did you play Lost Legacy? What did you think? And she replied, oh yeah, I've played it. I've already platinumed it. It's done. I've already done this. And I was like,
That's not sassy.
Like,
That's
Yeah, I
just
feel like
truthful.
Sarah's just stating facts.
And-
No, I said it was the first game I platinumed was that game. That was my first platinum.
yeah.
But my first
Okay.
full-length game, because there was only
Sure,
5
get
chapters.
closer.
My first other game was Infamous Second Son. So I kind of count Second Son as my
Your first
like,
game.
platform. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh, you guys. So that was last May that you guys had like sort of first contacted.
Oh, well, it was April. It was when we first contacted. 7th of May
Okay.
was when we played GoldenEye, and then I sang Holding Out for a Hero when I was down, you know, in like Uncharted Survival, when you're like down and you're waiting for someone to pick you up. I was like,
She
Come on, come get me.
serenaded me, and I'm like, I want this one.
yeah.
That's cute.
Because I didn't think
That's
you could hear me.
cute.
You were silent for a while.
I
I
was-
was like, oh, okay, you're still there. Oh, you are there? Come pick me up.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
And then literally a week later after that,
After
we
that, we were
started
together.
dating
Mhm.
online.
16th of
We
May,
started,
so
yeah.
we're almost at our 1 year. 16th of May.
that is
Yep.
close.
Mm.
Greg, do something
We're almost
nice.
at our
Getting
1 year
married
too.
1st of June.
Me and Pagan.
And you're gonna get married 1st of June.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
That's awesome.
You almost
Uh,
at your 1 year, so you two had that for a while.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Girls?
Brandy, Dan and Brandy. Do you guys have the same kind of similar story with like how you guys met online? Did you guys play online gamings?
Tried to play online games together. I played a bunch of Star Wars with her.
Yeah. Well, he talked me through it because I was hopeless.
No. Old Republic.
Oh yeah, Old Republic. Yes.
Because that was the only game you played.
That's true.
Ever.
Yeah, I was playing MMOs at the time. so-
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But when did we meet? It was like one of the Matrix episodes.
It
Like
was
we started talking.
Like late August
Yeah.
when we started talking. Like we had chatted in live chat and on Twitter a little bit here and there. And then I think it was going into September when you messaged me about coming to visit in New York, right?
Yeah, because I found his Facebook profile and I was like, hey, you're in New York. So I'm like, where the heck are you? Because I'm going that direction before I go to Glasgow. And so like got all excited, like, yay, we can meet each other.
Replayer meetup. Woo.
Yeah, so it was me, him, and Adam
You guys met
Wozniak.
Adam too,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yes, I remember this
I'm so
picture.
jealous.
Yes.
I meet Adam.
Yeah, so that started off with like as a very like innocent, just it's gonna be a little mini replayer meetup. Cool, yay! And
then we just hit it off.
Oh,
Yep.
that's cute.
So it's like the two of us are kind of like the epitome of that escalated quickly.
Yes.
Pretty much. Yeah, that escalated very quickly.
Yes,
and then
basically
after she got back from Glasgow, that's when we started like chatting all the time, and we started gaming together because, like I said, the only game she played was Star Wars Old Republic. I'm like, I played that like 10 years ago. Let me reinstall it. And I would like join on with her in Star Wars, and we'd game for a few hours each night.
Yeah.
Very cute. So I'm going to throw out a question to both of you couples. Did you guys feel any, like, were you super nervous meeting them face to face the first time? Were you like super nervous or anxious or be like, oh my gosh, what if I'm not attracted to them, or like anything like that?
Yeah, no, she was, but I was about. I had a little
cool
bit
as a
of
cucumber,
nerves,
Greg.
I hid in the bathroom at the airport.
When I hid in the bathroom.
Yeah, because Greg was like, "Oh, my friend who works here is here. Do you want to meet him too?" I was like, "No."
I have enough anxiety meeting you.
I saw him and I was like, "Hey," and I told because he asked me what I was doing there because I don't just randomly show up at the airport. Not part of my scheduling. Yeah, so I just told him that I guess she's just behind, but he was like, all right, I get it, and he congratulated me and stuff because I didn't really tell him, so I told him like a quick summary. But overall, my confidence meeting her was pretty much like I was about 90% confident with 10% nerves. Okay. But
I was more excited. It didn't feel real until I was there.
In 3D.
Yeah.
She was doing this to my face and saying I'm in 3D.
That's really sweet.
Because we actually went from like literally one day we stepped up. So we talked on Discord on text, and then the next day it's like, can I call you? And I said yes. And the next day it's like, let's FaceTime. And we FaceTimed every day since. So it's not like we weren't. I think there was only one day where I was at Armageddon in Christchurch where we didn't FaceTime. 2?
No, 3. There's 3 times total. Like when we were doing the online distance at the time that we didn't FaceTime, but every other day we FaceTimed or chatted throughout. Yeah.
So know that would work
right.
I'm kidding. We did a lot of the things.
Me hosting this whole thing, I'm like, oh god.
I mean, sometimes you can talk to people on text and it's completely different.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I totally get you, Sarah. I totally get you. I had to take a lot of anti-nausea tablets before I started this whole thing, if I'm honest. You guys are too perfect.
I would say for us, like, I wouldn't say I was nervous much because initially, like I said, our initial meetup was supposed to be like a replayer meetup. So it was kind of like there was definitely like something's going on.
Yeah, there was an interest.
We definitely knew that there was something happening, but at the same time, it was like, oh, we're just replayers hanging out. And by that end of that one night of meeting with her and Adam, like, afterwards it was like, okay, things are definitely there.
Yeah.
Don't lie. It's because you saw Brandy in a Wonder Woman cosplay.
You didn't even see me then.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. That's definitely going to escalate anything.
That last show of truth hit some truth, didn't it? When it got wrapped around you.
Yeah. Because I feel like that, She's like, okay, I'm just going to go to Glasgow. And then she starts posting selfies of her in Wonder Woman looking goddamn fine. And then you're like, ooh,
I think I like costume before Glasgow.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's what did it.
That's fine. That is. I think that's. Yeah, that's why he started texting me. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean, you did take the picture, like looking down your boobs.
Oh, my boobs, yes.
So it was like,
obviously,
you look good.
Yeah, that's a great picture.
Costume.
I think that was like
not at all creepy. It's still subtle.
I think that was the very first thing you said to me. That's a great Wonder Woman costume.
It wasn't the first thing I said.
I know. I'm just joking.
It probably was, though.
Nice boobs. That's what it was.
Like,
can I be honest about something about Dan and Brandy? When I saw that photo of all them together, for some reason I said it in my head as a joke, but like I didn't, because at first I didn't know. I was like, man, I bet Dan and Brandy look like they got something going on in that photo. Like I just naturally felt something there for you guys. And then
we're sitting next to each other.
And then I made And then I made well.
Yeah, to be fair, he did so because he told me that, and then we were speculating.
Yeah.
For a little bit before you came out, like maybe in like the 2 weeks before you actually.
I don't know how I got that feel of reading, but apparently it was true. And then I made a joke in like a Discord or something about because I was doing like couple nicknames of just random people, and I had Dan and Brandy, and I called them Dandy or something, and then apparently Dandy.
Accurate.
And then apparently
I found out through Discord that Dan and Brandy were together, and I was just like, wait, what? Like, I was so shocked. I was like,
because you just kind of casually slipped it in there.
It was just kind of like, oh, by the way, we're together. Yeah. And then it was proper like, and I'm moving to Texas type thing. Like, it was really like close around that time. It was like, yeah, so I'm flying out to Texas next month or whatever, and I'm just gonna go see what it's like down there because we could be like moving it together. And before all of this, actually, before you had like slipped it into Discord, you had messaged me and we were saying like talking about like voiceover work and such. And you were like,
that's why he was coming down here.
Like, he was like, I really want to hit up Texas because it's got like a big voiceover place, and obviously Rooster Teeth are down there and like all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, yeah, so I'm actually going to go and stay with another replayer, Brandy. And I was like, oh, that's really nice. Me really naively being like, aw, that's cool. Like another replayer is going to host you. And like, that's really nice. Little did I know. Like, that's what y'all planning.
Telling my story for me, so.
Oh, Saz.
To be fair, I had mentioned Texas before I had met her to you because I had mentioned.
No, you did. You did mention Texas. Yeah, way before you guys were together. Sure. Like you'd always wanted to either move to Texas or Germany.
Yes. I was gonna say I only heard about Germany that you were gonna. That was like one of your big plans was to go to Germany. I was like, oh, cool.
Like, well, I screwed that up.
I was posturizing the Germany thing for a while.
Yeah.
My mum and my sister were like, we need names, we need the contact of the police, we need we need like where you're staying, we need his address, we need his full name.
Tell him about the code word.
Oh yeah, we had a code, so if I was in trouble, I would like call them and ask about one of my mum's cats who I don't like. And then she would know that something was wrong because I'd never ask about that cat.
I have a question.
The New Zealand Embassy,
Sarah, real quick. Which cat is the cat you don't like?
Oh, my mum's cat, Pemberley. It's white and it's a hell cat.
Okay, so the code word would have been like, how's Pemberley doing?
Yeah. I was like, how's Pemberley doing? Little.
No, it was about his leg. Pemberley's leg.
Oh, no, that was the second time.
Oh, okay.
There was a second time.
There's multiple code words. There's different levels.
When I went back over to get Greg, my mum was with me at the airport in Dunedin, and we were just having a chat, and she was like, do we need a code word? I was like, no. She's like, do you want to make it Pemberley again? I was like, no, because your cat actually just had something wrong with his leg, and if I actually ask about it, it's because he's had something wrong with his leg. So I was concerned. So I was like, it's fine, Ma, don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's fine. We don't need a code word. He's legit. He exists.
I mean, anybody goes to the U.S. to go meet someone for the first time. That's just normal.
Emma was like, he's
definitely standard.
Balcony. You'll get thrown off a balcony. I was like, so I had to show her like the hotel that you couldn't even open the windows, had no balcony.
I also provided my address, number, and everything, and just because I
had how to get into my laptop into Discord to talk to Grace if anything happened.
Oh wow!
Sure, like,
but to be fair, like I feel like that's
like, do we really
that is
know
totally
this
logical. Like you're going across like continents to see someone. So I feel like I completely understand that. I think like at least being in the same country, you have contacts that could be there within hours, or contacts that could help you get someone there closer. Whereas like especially if your family are like, I'm scared for you to go over here and like talk to her or meet this person because you're so far away. It's a big risk. It's a big risk.
Sarah, you had me.
Really.
Yeah.
You had me, Sarah. Like I was only a couple of hours away.
True.
We actually talked about possibly like she had a layover here in Houston, and we were like, if it was just a little bit longer, like I would have gone to meet her before she went to see Greg.
I got to the gate in Houston with only 10 minutes until my flight boarded. And the second time I actually went through Chicago, and they were boarding as I got to the gate.
Jeez.
So
that's tight.
On the way back, it's not so bad because I think we have a couple of hours in between. But yeah, on the way there, it's very tight. Like you got to book it and get off that plane and fly through customs. Yeah.
I was a little disappointed because from Tampa, we did land in Houston first. And the fact that Brandy and Dan were not there to see us while we were there before
sad.
going to New Zealand, kind of sad.
Sad.
How long was your layover?
Like 5 hours.
Oh.
We were there for about 4 or 5 hours. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. I see.
I think we were busy.
Sometimes it's really hard. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, just busy people. I feel like 5 hours in an airport is just like, sometimes it just drags, and you're like, oh my god.
It did the last couple hours. It dragged, but like overall, the wait between the 3 flights was it went by pretty fast. Even the 14-hour flight from Houston to New Zealand on the North Island it didn't seem that long.
So when you boarded the flight in Houston, I presume to New Zealand, how long is that flight?
14 hours.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And then we had the
I've only done that a few times. Yeah,
I've almost 2 hours.
Yeah, that's
flight
true.
From Auckland to Dunedin.
Yeah,
but it took you 2 days to get down to Texas, but you could get out of your car and go for a walk.
You could go to the restroom
for 14 hours.
Eat food.
Yeah, I've only done it a few times with South African flights from Dublin, somehow direct or through Brussels or something like that. Like we would do that, and it would be about 13 hours.
Yeah,
that's it.
Well, either way, the overall point here is it's ridiculous that there's 2 replayer couples that both got together really fast and moved at an extreme distance to be with one another.
Both the men went to the ladies.
That's right.
How it should be, Greg.
To be fair, both the ladies were in better places than where the men were.
This is very true. You're not wrong there. That's absolutely true.
It's like, I like Florida, but I don't want to live here.
No. So. As I've stated, good to visit, but not to live.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, speaking of commonalities between the ladies and having their shit together more than the guys did, I want to move on to a cute little couple game that will just kind of like break some ice and cause a lot of tension later when you watch this back. But also, so just how to play it. It's a very lighthearted game. Like, don't take it too seriously. You don't have to answer verbally. You just have to point to the partner that you think is the answer for the question. For example, if I ask you who is grumpiest in the mornings, you're gonna point to. Okay. Oh, that's kind of cute.
Not that grumpy though.
I love how you both couples pointed to the opposite person.
This is just my answer for the rest of the game.
I was ready. It was me.
Right. Okay. So.
Question 1.
Here we go. I might do it. Well, I think we probably will get all this done in about a minute, but I will time it and see what's going. But when I did it with Adam earlier. So I came by myself.
See what your guys' answers are.
It was actually pretty great. We might one day record it.
Did you do it with all the Adams?
Oh, it was hard to get them all in the one Zoom. Yeah, it's difficult.
Right.
It's difficult.
I mean, you have 100 slots, Pagan. How hard is it?
No, it's just hard to just coordinate their times. You know what I mean?
Phrasing.
Oh, sorry. I see.
Yeah. Brandy's like, ha! That was a great laugh. Okay, here we go. Y'all ready?
Go.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Who made the first move? Dan and Brandy on the
Brandy looked confused.
Who's the most romantic?
I'm saying, hold on. I'm saying it's her because she was one that messaged me and asked me to do the replayer meetup.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. What was the question again?
Most romantic.
So the second question is, who's the most romantic? Who is the most spoiled? Who is most likely to forget why they walked into the room? Who is the most likely to embarrass the other person while drunk or out on a night out?
Well, we don't drink, but
yeah,
night out.
Or out.
That sounds like
or
something
out,
I would do. Yeah.
Who is the most untidy?
I'm clean in the kitchen, but messy in the bedroom.
Okay. Whoa.
We both have our separate areas.
That's a double entendre if I ever heard it.
Well, it's also hard with renovation because some of our stuff doesn't have places to live yet.
A lot of stuff is in temporary places, so it's kind of hard.
That's been the way for me
since
since I moved to Texas too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
we'll get there.
Okay, going on. Who takes the longest to get ready? Who cooks the most?
Me. Greg doesn't know how to cook.
Not true. I make a mean cereal. And I'm a microwave. A king.
Me too, Greg. And scrambled eggs.
I make great beans.
Who is most likely to fall asleep during a movie?
I'm not a good sleeper.
Probably me.
Quick answers, y'all.
Yeah.
We're
Sorry.
working on it.
I had to
Who is
think.
the more organized? Who is more
Depending on
ambitious?
What the ambitious? Yeah. Well,
I think
I've
we're
been
both pretty
I've
ambitious.
Both, yeah.
had
Both pretty
quite a bit of
ambitious.
ambition while being here.
We'll do a
but
cross
Alright.
on that one.
overall ambition would be you.
Who is more easily upset? Who is most likely to say the wrong thing at the wrong time? Who is more
Oh,
likely
right,
to
yeah.
laugh when they're not supposed to?
Like,
you're
both
pretty
of us
bad,
do
too.
it. Yeah.
Who is more likely to cry over a sad song or movie?
Eh.
Greg's dead inside.
Who is more likely to impulse buy?
Which is
Who-
so weird because like Greg was always like shopping adventures with Sarah, but he buys more than I do.
Who is more likely to apologize first?
Oh yeah.
Who
Depending
takes
on
all the
topic,
bed
yeah.
covers?
I didn't have to move on that one.
Who gives the best cuddles?
We're both good cuddlers.
Dan voting for himself as well.
We're both
Who
good cuddlers.
compliments the other more?
I try to initiate the
Yeah,
cuddling.
he initiates it more than I do, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. But just because he initiates it doesn't mean that he's better at it, Sarah. You might be
That's true.
badass at cuddling.
I'm an excellent cuddler.
She is, so I'm gonna point at her.
Okay, we'll go
Right.
with me.
Who
May I
compliments the
present
other more?
evidence A?
Yeah.
Greg. I'm not
Uh,
used to how much attention
missed the
Greg gives me yet.
Aw. The final question is who's the biggest nerd?
We're equally the biggest
Equally.
nerds.
We're
yeah,
equally
we're
nerdy.
We're both
Yeah.
pretty nerdy.
Oh, both of you both said that. Both couples were like, we're
Yeah.
equally nerdy.
Yeah,
In
Diplomatic
different ways,
answer.
but
In different ways,
equally
yeah.
nerdy.
Mm.
yeah, exactly.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Aww. So I hope you guys chat back and actually find out what the other couple said as well and see who's.
I was waiting for you to throw in the curveball question that, like, just like.
You know what? Actually, I had a few written down and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep it light.
No, Pagan, go at it. Go
Like,
ahead.
it was
Pagan.
gonna be
Pagan,
like-
do it.
Pagan's
There's
gonna
borderline
finish her
dirty
drink.
questions.
Hard.
There's borderline, yeah. Nah, it's light. We'll do like an after hours
An
podcast.
after hours?
one day. We'll do
There'll
an
be
after hours
an after
podcast
show.
and like
You have to pay for that one.
you have
There'll
to
be
pay
a
for
post
that.
show.
Yeah, behind a
All the
paywall.
sex questions, all the
Yeah.
sex questions, and the potentially argumentative questions.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh.
Pagan's gonna finish her drink, and then we'll get to them.
Gluh.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Pagan.
which is why I'm particularly red in the face because alcohol
Oh, yeah,
is
you're just
not
like,
good for Irish people. Yeah, basically,
I do know
you
that.
can definitely tell the level of drunk
based on the redness
until
level.
like until like I get maybe
There's
3
a
or
chart
4
of different
glasses
red
in, then I'm like
colors.
bright red.
Yeah.
Comes through makeup and everything. It's great. Okay, so moving on to actually discussing what we're all here to discuss. Sex positions. Just kidding. Retro
Doggy
replay.
style. Oh.
I love it. It's just like I'm gonna volunteer with this doggy style. Go ahead, Pagan. What are we saying?
What? Hi.
Hi.
Where's Jackhammer?
So we're gonna. Oh my god.
I'm glad you
I
were
don't even
deciding
think
to drink
backwards
this
Jackhammer
episode.
is even a
Pagan.
position. I just thought of a couple words.
Just saying words.
If it is, somebody insert that clip here, or someone
Siamese
insert a
twins.
drawing.
Oh,
I
no.
don't know.
We don't need
no.
that.
Can you
clip.
imagine like this quick flash porn?
If anyone would find that, it would be Drew. With his knowledge, Drew can put in the.
Or Stephanie. Stephanie be like,
Oh,
I'm on
gosh.
it.
Poor
Find
Steph.
it there. Poor Stephanie.
Also, hi,
Um,
Steph.
So
Nice,
going
Steph.
through onto today's content, or this week's content, is advice from Uncle Noly. We get it again every Tuesday. He's answering questions correctly or giving you some bullshit answer, as per Uncle Nolan. So, what did y'all think? Do you guys have a favorite piece of advice? Think anything was funny this week? How in general actually are you finding Uncle Noly? Would you like couple advice from Uncle Noly?
Well, I think that's kind of funny. I do tend to, because it's so short, I tend to be distracted when I watch it. I tend to forget a lot of it once I've seen it. I do remember about the one who wanted a boyfriend or girlfriend, like it didn't matter at that point. Was that
Yes.
Yeah.
it's
He's
been-
like, don't
yeah,
be
I remember
desperate.
that.
Yeah, don't be desperate.
Yeah, don't be desperate is
Yeah.
good advice.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one I remember.
For
Yeah.
the love of.
I like the Debbie
Pete.
Downer one where he
That
was
was-
like, "Thanks for being a Debbie Downer."
Yeah, yeah.
I like splash.
I do enjoy them. They do
Splash
make me.
bloob.
They make
Splash
me giggle.
bloob.
Bloob, splash.
Oh,
bloob.
what would- yeah,
It sounds
what
like
would
you're
he- what did he say
masturbating in a
called?
toilet.
Splash bloop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
like he's masturbating in the toilet. That was
do
the one that was
like-
desperate.
Yes.
Like
Mhm.
desperate
Yeah.
for a girlfriend or a boyfriend.
So both funny moment and good advice at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like Nolan's pretty good at doing that. He wraps it all in one. It was the same with the Debbie Downer thing. He was like, well,
Mhm.
thanks for being a Debbie Downer. And then was like, here, look, find meaning in everything in the world, whether it's a puppy or video game, YouTube content, like whatever it
Good
is,
pair of
find beauty in the
tits.
world.
Yes.
Good pair of tits,
Yeah.
and ends
Good
it with
tits.
like that naughty twist.
Yeah.
Which
yes, I can
obviously
know that.
Dan already knew that advice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously.
yes,
He knew
obviously.
quality
From the
when he
I
from
am
the Wonder
very
Woman
wise.
photo
Yeah.
he got. Yeah.
He was ahead of the game on that one.
Yeah.
You chose wisely.
Wisely. Yes.
Yes.
I would agree in terms of you, Greg. I feel like some are better than others, but I just feel like it depends on the question because he does
Yeah.
give really good answers to like last week's interview question, which was really interesting.
Mhm.
Compared to like this week's like, what do you do if you see your boss when you've pretended to be sick
Oh,
from
yeah,
work?
that's right.
Vomit.
And he was like, just
loudly.
vomit, straight up vomit.
Vomit
Make sure
all
he
over the
sees you.
place.
Yes.
Yeah.
All over the
Yeah.
place and
Really
loudly.
hard, really hard.
Yeah.
Donating
Imagine-
to an orphanage.
That was
Can you
actually
imagine
quite
just someone
funny.
just be
It
like,
was.
oh my god, and then just trying to, like in front
Get that
supermarket, anywhere you're at.
Mhm.
I will say, the advice he gave me on the first episode of it, the quick tug has helped tremendously. So thank you for that.
Oh my
yeah.
god, wow.
So
I
that
think
helps
it's-
a
Wow.
lot.
I think
Well,
it's funny
actually,
that
would you
Sarah
remind
mentioned
listeners-
the forgetting about the Uncle Noly because we talked about that previously on the podcast where it's like you laugh your ass off in the moment and you love it, and then if you try and talk about it a few days later, you're like, what the hell was he saying?
What was
I remember
that?
laughing. but-
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember it
I
being
cheat. I
funny.
have show notes, so
Yes, yeah. Now we have show notes because
Yeah.
we kept doing that.
yeah, I know. That's, yeah, because we've learned our lesson, Dan. We were like, we should really be better at this,
Like, we should
and now we've
probably
created show
write
notes.
these things down.
But he
Yeah.
does give good relationship advice though,
Mhm.
I think. But
Agree.
I was talking to Dan because I forgot where I saw it and I realized it was Shimey's interview
I was
with
just about
him.
to say,
Oh,
Yeah,
right, they're
yeah.
talking about the like,
Being
Yeah.
like,
being like it,
Yeah.
not love.
not
Mhm.
love. And I'm like,
That
that is
was my
perfect.
question.
Mm.
Yes,
And then I immediately said, "I like you," and she went, She was
Great.
like, "I love you," and I went, "I like
exactly what you moved here for. Like,
I like
Well, that's
you.
actually kind of, I guess, the best thing about being long distance is that you have the chance to develop the friendship and
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
like,
agree.
there's, emotional connection first rather than it just being physical.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
did the hard part
did the hard
first,
part
which
first.
helped us grow. Then
Yeah.
we saw each other. Then we did the hard part again, and then yeah,
The hard
and I
part,
think that
but,
helped us tremendously.
That's good.
oh, Dan.
Wink, wink, quick tug.
Yes,
Uncle Nolan notes, and then just a.
sometimes.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, I would agree. I think like the couple's advice that Nolan gives is really, really good. That was my question. And for anybody listening or watching, you can catch that interview on Shimey's YouTube page, Crazy Fangirl Reviews. We can link it in the description below. Excellent interview, by the way. Super proud of Shimey and all her work on that because, like, great job.
It was
Fucking
awesome.
great job.
Yep.
It
Yeah,
was
I would agree.
excellent.
I
I said that was excellent.
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 Yeah, there was a lot of kind of like throwaway questions, I guess, as well. Like how to get over gambling from Jacob Fisher, which was like, just don't gamble.
Yeah,
The
Just
house
don't do
always
it.
wins.
The house always wins. Always.
Always.
Yeah,
I feel like people
simple.
who have
That
that
get used
addiction
to
is
not having
like,
money is a good.
I can say
Yeah,
that goes
Sure.
back
having
to
a ton of
even
money.
like there's been times where there's some things that people you have to beat them over the head with it for them to
Mhm.
understand. I mentioned this before
True.
on the podcast that
yeah,
there's the things that Uncle Noly's given advice on where it's like you have to be super direct with some people sometimes or else they just don't get it and they don't understand.
Yeah.
And that's where you get the
Yeah, you can't
just
sugarcoat
don't
things.
do it or the
sometimes
house
you have
always
to-
wins kind of thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Good point. Very, very
Yep.
good point. Overall,
do that
nice,
to her
short and sweet
sometimes.
episode. Do you? Ooh, the looks
Oh,
Brandy's
sorry.
giving me
The
later.
burn.
I would love to know, like, as soon as the camera goes off, it's just probably like, "Fuck you, say to me, why are you fucking talking about me?" Like, just completely like just before the mic switches out, you just hear like, "What the fuck, Dan?" Like,
You fucking asshole.
whoa.
You cocks. What?
Is everyone okay?
Sarah's like texting Brand, being like, how's Pemberley's leg? Are you okay? Do you need a safe word?
I feel like texting Sarah. Pemberley.
Pemberley. And his fucking leg.
Everyone's code word should now be about Pemberley's leg. Everyone out
For
there.
sure, definitely.
How's
For
There
sure.
you go, new code word.
Pemberley's pissing me off.
I want to see a tweet later on. Just Pemberley. Like,
Yes.
Hashtag Pemberley.
Yeah, right. So moving on to excellent news this week. We got a beautiful, beautiful episode of Retro Replay. Zoom
Gosh, it was good.
in
Wow.
quarantine.
Wow.
Splendid.
It was fucking unreal.
And awfully familiar.
Neat.
Yeah, Nolan North was joined by Richard McGonigal, Emily Rose, Robin Atkin-Downs, Claudia Black, Graham McTavish, and Amy Hennig for a very special Uncharted 3 cast and crew reunite for basically Uncharted 3 announcement playthrough.
Mhm.
Which was basically like the run of the whole thing. Like, let's just announce it. We're going to do this.
Woo!
So many beautiful moments. I couldn't stop crying. I thought it was hilarious. I think Nolan's joke about Richard being a murderer is
I was
fucking
just gonna talk about
funny.
that. That was my favorite part of that whole thing. Like the whole episode, I pretty
Beautiful.
much had a smile on my face because just the chemistry there. But Nolan making a lore about Richard being a serial killer is something I didn't know I needed in my life.
We all needed to know that Richard was actually a secret serial killer murderer.
I also
Yeah.
think like it's really cute the way Richard is just so
like,
honestly
"Okay."
so sweet about it that he just
Yeah.
gets almost worked up about it. Be like, no, please stop, Nolan. And Nolan's just like, no, you're killing bitches downstairs. We know, like it's happening.
The murder.
It's
Richard's
so
just
great.
one of those the older generation of just overall good human beings, and it helps like for us young folk appreciate him in his entirety because obviously, like I said, he's from a different generation. But for human beings from different generations to be like that, it's very nice to know there's people still out there, regardless of what's going on, to still be like the way he is, very pure and very just an overall, just a really good person.
Guy. He's
Yeah.
a good egg.
Yeah.
A good egg. Do you guys have any favorite moments from that, or just genuinely like excitement around Uncharted 3 definitive playthrough?
Everything
Excitement,
Claudia
yes.
Black.
Yes.
Thank you,
She's
Sarah.
amazing.
Yes,
Hashtag Claudia Black energy.
Yeah.
Just-
I love her energy.
Just Graham also, like, I mean, he was just
Graham
in
every
tears.
few minutes, like-
just having to take his glasses off because
Yeah.
he was just in tears. Like, he's just so adorable. I love him to death.
The
Yes.
dwarf.
I like the
The
guy that
dwarf.
was doing the Simon Cowell impressions too. They had like the martini.
Robin,
Robin,
yeah.
yes.
Robin actually was.
I'm
making
loving
me
that he
laugh a lot
dressed
harder
up.
than I expected. Like
Yeah.
Robin was killing it.
Yeah.
I feel like he
Amy was
dressed
trying
up
to
and
tell
had a
him how to
martini and
use a
everything, and I was like,
computer.
everyone else is in super cash, and Robin's there in a freaking bow tie. So cute.
Yeah. Fun fact: Graham McTavish is actually our neighbor.
Nice.
Well, get him in here,
No,
buddy.
Please, yes.
Call him over.
Be
Okay.
best friends.
Call him.
When I was in chat and everything, and Graham was like, "Yeah, I'm live from New Zealand," and I was like adding Greg, and I was like, "Greg, are you best friends with Graham now? Greg, can you get
'Cause there's
Graham to
only,
come
like,
over?
5
Greg,
people
get
that live
Graham
in
on the
New
podcast." That's pretty cool. Yeah, obviously New Zealand is like tiny. It's like 4 people there. Just get him on. It's fine. Just knock on the door. You'll find one.
Sam
That's
Neill
Graham
from
behind
Jurassic
it.
Park is also from New Zealand, but I think
He
he
is.
lives in Australia.
No, he lives here. He's
Oh,
got
he does
a-
live
yeah, he's
here?
got a family.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Doesn't he
does
have an
live-
Irish?
Sarah's like close
Yeah.
friends with Samuel. She's
Birth
like, oh yeah,
cert?
he's down the street. He lives with his family.
He's
And
down.
he
Well,
raises
it's
birds.
just down the road. It's not far.
Yeah, we'll see him. We see him occasionally. We give him a nice wave, you know.
That's where it's from.
Yeah, just
It's like
socially
doing
distanced wave.
videos on Twitter on his like.
Oh yeah,
his
he
pigs and
and he's
stuff.
getting like celebs to do like different videos. Him and Sam Neill Sam Neill is another one that's a super all around like super good guy.
Have
that I
you
didn't even
seen-
know about.
His Twitter.
And this is a totally random and off course, but have anybody seen Sam Neill doing Facebook videos? I think.
I've
Of his
seen
gnomes?
of them, but I haven't actually
Of
watched
his
any
He
of
gives-
them.
nose.
Yeah, gnomes, like
Oh,
garden gnomes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nose.
No.
He goes
How
around
does
and
that
gives
work?
like his garden gnomes voices and like
Mm.
runs a conversation with them, like between himself and the
That sounds
gnome.
like Sam Neill. Yeah.
It's really good content.
He
I
might
highly
have
recommend
those.
watching.
I don't know if he does like separate videos on Facebook and Twitter, but he's done like fake movies with like other people. Like he did one with Steven Weber a couple weeks ago, and Steven Weber confronts him in the he like in the bathroom, but like it's supposed to be like a transitional scene where he's actually outside.
Yes, actually, he's done a very similar one with Hugo Weaving, and they're supposed to be in the same bathtub. Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah,
it's really nice. It's making them all super creative now in quarantine. But yeah, sorry. Any further like issues? Any further like interest about the Uncharted 3 playthrough coming up? Like doing it in quarantine? You guys got any concerns? Dan, Brandy, how are you guys feeling about it?
I'm definitely interested in seeing it finally. It's going to be interesting to see how they do it, especially like doing it from quarantine, where I'm assuming they're going to do some screen capture, much like we do on the podcast, and implement it over the gameplay. I do want to point out that like that Zoom chat looked awfully familiar. I don't know when they recorded that, but it's like, like me and Brandy were watching that, like, wow, this looks an awful lot like when we have Zoom chats with the replayers, and they're all just screaming at each other and yelling over each other. And
it looks a lot like our Zoom chats.
We had made a joke where there was the part where, in the beginning when Nolan was muted and he was like fake yelling, we do the same thing to Aaron in the Zoom chat,
all
like
the time.
The same bit. Like I mute him and he just starts. It's like
Aaron's
like
creator.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Aw. That's kind of cool. And I think like the Zoom chats before the episodes now during quarantine are just like something so special as well. Like, and props to you guys for going ahead and doing it and like taking ownership of it and, you know, modding everything as well, making sure everybody's happy. And it's really good. And it's a really good time.
Yeah, Zoom has really been the savior of this whole quarantine, keeping people connected. I know there was some stuff with it, but like overall, it's a good quality. Like, especially the fact that you can get up to like 100 people on it. That I've never heard of that. I didn't even know.
Just gotta be careful of the trolls.
Careful of the trolls.
Yeah, lots of trolls.
Password. Did you guys ever talk about on here about the one time we did that the replayer hang? I think it was like the first or second one.
It was the first. And it was the first one.
The dude that was wearing like the chicken costume that was drinking a beer in the cowboy hat.
Yeah,
that is amazing. Is that real?
Yeah, that happened during our Zoom hang.
It was a random guy who came in. He was just waving, but like dancing, and he had like an inflatable chicken costume that he looked like he was riding a chicken, like one of those types of costumes. He had a cowboy hat on and drinking a beer, just waving at everybody.
Quarantine was working out real well for that guy.
He's always invited. I think he was awesome.
He probably is a replayer as well. He's probably just like
he was the entertainment.
Anytime I'll see a username. Yeah, if I ever see like a username on chat now that has the word chicken in it, I'm just gonna think of that guy and be like, maybe that's him.
It's the chicken man. It's chicken man.
Yeah,
the chicken guy.
My question was like around Uncharted 3 was when is it gonna air? Is it gonna be like a separate day like the other ones, or is it gonna be on Fridays?
I think it'll be your Fridays.
Sorry, your Thursday.
You think it's gonna take over Retro Replay proper?
Yeah, for right now.
Because how else? What else? They can't shoot any other content really at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah. Their couch is quarantined.
Yeah, basically.
They're probably fumigating it.
Yeah.
Quarantine couch.
Finally, now that Nolan's out of set, they're like, fucking fumigate everything.
That's
just
where COVID came
everything.
from, that couch.
That's where it came from.
They're going to finally get rid of that smell.
Please, God. Yeah.
That smell and steam is going to finally come out.
They're all going to go in smelling fresh. And no one's going to walk in. They're like, oh, that lasted like a whole 3 minutes. Yep. Oh, poor Nolan. How did we end up just shitting on Nolan? Oh my God, Nolan's amazing.
I love Nolan. I love
shitting on Nolan, Pagan. How dare you?
I know. I will see to myself later. That's more just the heat now because of this lamp as well, and it's like so fucking warm. But I do not want to take this top off. It's fine. We'll get through it.
Ooh, there we go.
Save that for the after-hour special, Pagan.
Right. When we get talking
only
about
Patreon
the dirty
subs.
stuff. Only for Patreon.
My only
Patreon subs can see it. Yeah.
I mean, that's how we get subs real fast.
Sarah,
all right, ladies, get the tops off.
All right, that's it. That's exactly. Viewers.
There we go, Greg.
Really
Greg, you are top tier. You keep your shirt on until we start getting those $100 membership.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm like the okay. Yeah.
That's exactly it. People got to pay for that kind of quality content.
Right.
I would agree with Sarah. Actually, I love Claudia Bach's energy. I am so happy to see her back on the show. I love Graham McTavish too, Brandy. I thought like when he was on the show, it's just himself, and when Claudia were on, like the energy that they brought, and they were so compatible with Nolan, is just so good and wholesome. It just made me cry, like the whole episode with Graham and with Claudia. Just beautiful, beautiful content. So I'm so looking forward to more of that. I like Emily and Richard and Robin Atkins, and Amy Hennig is just a queen, and I would pay taxes to that woman. But I just love the playful energy that Claudia and Graham bring to the show too.
Yeah.
Excited to see what's happening.
And poor Emily, she always seems lost. She's like, I can't keep up with you guys. Poor thing.
Yeah. I feel like
Emily
she's sweet as well. Super wholesome for Emily. Oh.
Yeah.
She is. She's just too pure, and everyone's correcting her.
pure.
So she knows how to stay away. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why she's like, help. And Claudia's like, I cannot help you, sweetheart.
Yeah. I thought that was really sweet that she was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness you're here. Like, help me. And poor Claudia is just like, oh no.
Sorry, love.
I really can't.
I'm like the
Like,
worst
I'm
of
way
us.
What was that? Do that again.
Like, I'm the worst of us.
Literally,
The hand
Brandy.
gestures were fantastic. Oh, what a beaut.
Claudia's
What a
definitely worse than the guys, but like in the best way possible.
Well,
for
yeah.
I was laughing
In the
really good at Robin. I thought Robin was just cracking me up with his antics and
Robin.
silliness, and like especially like 2 minutes into the chat after he joined, he's just got his back turned,
Back
he's just,
completely
like,
turned. Yeah.
Yeah.
doing his thing, and he's like, "Oh, what? Who? Hi, what's going on, guys?"
I really liked when Amy called him out and was like,
Yeah.
so why don't you just screen share it? And he was just like, what? And he was like, never mind, do your thing. And then Emily did actually screen share. I thought that
That's
was
how you
just so
screen
good.
share.
This is how you screen share. Let me show you.
That was so cool seeing the old photos from like when they first started
Oh, I love
production on
that.
it, because those were back from 2006, and you see Emily with her, her T-pose and her mocap from back then, how different it is then to like now, and just like the sets, and like that's really cool. That's like piece of history, not many people got to see, so that was nice that her and Robin both showed that on
Yeah.
there. That was nice seeing.
I feel
all
like we got a lot of
Yeah.
like sneak peeks into all the Unchartedness in that episode, because they even talked about how what was it, the thing with Cutter that got cut from Uncharted 4, and they were like, oh, it was a little Easter egg for you from Uncharted 4 that no one ever knew about, the whole thing with him being like a master of disguise. I was like,
Oh, yeah. The
that would've
mustache
been
on top of the
awesome.
mustache.
You need a better mustache.
Yeah.
So cute. I really
Yeah.
love the fact that with video games, it's possible for you to bring that person in again. Like they had such good chemistry on Uncharted 2 that they were like, yeah, cast him as Cutter. Like if he can do it and fill the part, then like he should be the part. And I thought that was really nice.
Mm-hmm. It also amazes me too, because you look back at the time those games were coming out and we were playing them, and now we're getting these like new retrospects of them from the actual voice actors on a totally different time now, with like more improved technology than it was back then. Because even like smartphones, like I mean, yeah, they came out in 2007 with the iPhone that started it, but
Sounds about right.
iPhones didn't really become really like a big deal up into, or like as like what they are now, starting it up until like 2010 or 11, not even that. And to see like them come back and explain all that stuff and talking about the tech back then to like how it is now, it's pretty incredible how far it's come.
Yeah, I would agree.
All that, yeah.
Looking back is a nice touch. It was a really nice touch on the episode, because it wasn't just like verbal memories being exchanged. It was that like visual, like Emily's first or second day on set and everything. And I really appreciate those kind of stories. I feel like as an actor as well, like I'm sure Dan as well also appreciates it, like just that insight to what it must be like to be cast on an event like that and just have it go, like especially for Emily, who was cast the first season or the first video game, and obviously then extended into 4.
Oh, I'm waiting for you to be done.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm
was gonna-
finished.
To piggyback
And
off what you're saying, I think that echoes in what we heard from Claudia when she was talking about like bumbling her way into an interview to be cast, or audition, I should say, for her character on Uncharted. Chloe, that's her. And then Amy saying like there was no better way for you to nail like Chloe and her character, and she was like, well, it's a good thing I was just cocking it up that day. And it's interesting to see that what she was going through that day on an audition is technically what got her the job. And it was like, you just never know. What if she came into that overly prepared, like, okay, I'm gonna be all this and that, and she didn't get the job because of that?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Like, I feel like I've mentioned this before, possibly when we actually talked about Chloe's episode when they were doing Uncharted 2
Probably.
playthrough. Because I was cast in my first ever professional production because I was like the character. I went in, I didn't know I was being auditioned. Somebody told me I was being a reader for someone else who was auditioning. They told him the same thing. They were like, you're not auditioning, we're auditioning her. You just need to read. So I came in thinking I was just reading this, and the director and writer was like, hey, so what did you think of the script? And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't finish it. And the other guy was there thinking I was auditioning. He was like, you didn't read the script? And I was like, no. Well, I read it, but like I just didn't finish it. I didn't finish the last scene. And he's like, okay, sorry, we're going to do the last scene together. And I'm telling you, the stares, if this looks could kill that other actor was giving me, he was like, how the fuck do you not read the thing if you're not auditioning? Right. I didn't know I was auditioning. And then, a couple days later, the director/writer called me and was like, yeah, I want to give you the part. And I was like, I didn't know I was auditioning. He's like, that's perfect, because the character you were playing wouldn't fucking read the script. She wouldn't come in prepared for anything. Like, it wouldn't matter to her. Like, she's not book smart. She's not going to be focused on anything. So I feel like that situation is very similar to what happened with Claudia Black becoming Chloe. Like, she came in, she bumbled her way through it. Okay, fine. I didn't know I was auditioning, so I kind of did it unintentionally, but it was the same thing. Like, they were like, that's exactly what the character would have done, so you got it.
Nailed it.
So ended my career.
The moral of the story is be prepared, but actually don't.
Be prepared, but
don't.
Do you know what? It's something that Troy Baker has said. Yeah, something that Troy Baker has said on and on in pretty much anything that I've seen him give actor advice in, which is gold. It's just show them who the character is. You're there to just do your job and show them what you have for this character. If it's not what they think the character should look like, then sadness for you. You're not it. But you just go in and do your job and show them what this character looks like for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there you go. Show them what the character looks like, courtesy of Troy Baker, courtesy of someone else who told that to Troy Baker.
Acting advice from Pagan.
Acting advice from Troy Baker via this other person. Like, whoever told him that.
I mean, you shared your experience of what happened and how that worked out for you.
True. Doesn't always work that way, but like, it just seems like these happy accidents or happy coincidences, like myself and with Claudia Black, just happens that way, I guess.
I would say probably more often than most people would think. Things just work out that way, like you
Probably,
stumble into
actually.
something, or it's a coincidence, or you just happen to be like a happy accident, and that seems to be pretty common for some things, I would say.
Yeah. And you know what? I think it's really interesting as well. Like, again, just kind of like on an acting perspective, like I've been on the other side where I have been a reader for casting, and people come in with certain energies and you're just like, oh, like this is either the part or it's not. Like, you just have an energy about you, and that person or the actor, the casting director, whoever's casting it is like, that's you.
Sorry.
I saw the gentle sway. Are you guys listening to music? Like, they're just like...
I focused the camera on Greg and Sarah because they're just over there like...
Yeah,
just so swaying.
So while you were monologuing, we were focused on Greg and Sarah.
While you were monologuing, we were just...
That's fine. You can clip all of that monologuing out. Just, do you know what? Actually, edit it into like, you know when someone's going off on one and then there's just like always mumbled or fast forward or something? Do that.
I've almost fast forwarded before, but I was like, she would be so pissed if she listens to this and hears me fast forward her.
Just do it. Yeah, just do it. It's fucking funny. Like, just fucking do it. Yeah. Do anybody else have anything to add for a retro replay? Upcoming episodes of Uncharted 3, the definitive playthrough.
I'm happy to finally be getting
Uncharted 3. Can't wait.
I
want to see it.
It's what you call neat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Blended neat. Neat.
Especially if we're getting.
So you think it's gonna start next week?
McGonagall guest spot.
Yeah.
He's finally able to, and he's just gonna like use his meat hooks.
And yeah.
Bear claws.
Shovel hands.
Yeah.
It's got big
running
hands.
on all fours.
He'll. All I know is that if they get Richard on, he's definitely gonna kill it.
Yes.
Ha, ha,
Possibly.
Ha, ha, ha.
Haha.
Get in. Nice one, Greg. Nice one.
You move, I move.
You move.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm gonna wrap it up. If nobody has nothing else to add, I'm gonna wrap it up. So thank you so much for joining.
Some random game news?
Go for it. Fuck yeah, go for it.
Well, this is something close to my heart. They just announced that coming this Thursday, Xbox is going to be announcing Xbox Series X games. We're going to get the first taste of what's going to be coming on next gen. Okay, that's all I wanted.
So it's this Thursday, did you say?
This Thursday.
Nerd.
Because then I'm going to be bragging my ass off about all the amazingness that's coming to Xbox and telling all you PlayStation.
I gotta sit through that next week.
Yes,
you do know those games might.
Joke's on you, Brandy. You gotta sit through it the whole week.
Oh no, it'll be like live
Steam,
stream, and he's gonna be talking about it.
Oh really?
Microsoft's working with Steam, and Sony is working with Epic Games.
Yeah, I understand that, but the whole premise here is console, not PC. Like PC is its own.
So they're
beast.
only announcing Xbox Series X games on this week.
No, but I understand what Greg
is
is saying is they might be available on computer and Steam, but that's been Xbox's motif for a while now. Most games come out for both Xbox and PC at the same time because Xbox wants everyone to be able to play their games.
Well, they won't be able to if it's all exclusive.
I don't think it's gonna be all exclusive.
Yeah, but that's why you gotta buy the console. That's where they get you, Greg.
That's how they make you pay.
That's how they get you, Greg.
Well, not everybody can afford a $1,000 computer either to play games at their best quality when they can spend, say, $400 or
Xbox decided to make one. So thank you, Xbox.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the Xbox Series X looks like a really interesting console. I would be very interested to see how PlayStation are going to match this. Honestly, if I'm speculating, because Xbox Series X, like, it seems to be so much better than their PlayStation 5. I just feel like PlayStation 5 are holding back on something. I don't know what it is, but I feel like they are.
They're having hardware issues.
If nothing else, I know
I just feel like once
a Horizon Zero Dawn 2 coming very soon. Like, I'm sure they've got that locked and loaded. They've probably got a God of War 2 locked and loaded. They've got all their big heavy hitters. But for like my main issue with PlayStation, their heavy hitters don't make up for their other weaknesses. And I feel like this might be an unpopular opinion, but I feel like a lot of PlayStation fans are a little brainwashed. No offense.
Why do you look at me?
Well, I mean, to an extent, Dan, I can agree with you, but you can say that for any other system too. Every system has its pros and cons, but discussing games and stuff, I think Sony does have better exclusive. However, their PS Plus is terrible. Mm-hmm. Their PS Now is terrible, and you're paying all this money to play like online, and they hardly have sales. Online. Like their sales aren't that great either, and they're only up for select titles.
Like I pay for the PS Plus purely to play online. On their things, and it's kind of not really like that should be included in the game. You shouldn't have to be.
In PS3, it was. You got internet for free on PS3, and then they added that because Xbox was doing it, and PS is like, hey, we could do that.
And now, like, full disclosure, to be fair, like, I don't think that Xbox is infallible in any way. I know that they have mistakes and they've had problems and there's things they need to fix too. And they've done a lot in the last generation to fix a lot of their previous mistakes.
I can agree with that for sure, yeah.
I feel like, because I've talked to people who are, like, Sony fanboys, and they're just like, they can't give a good reason other than Sony's the best. It's like, okay, but why are they the best? Oh, well, they got the best games. Like, okay, their games are good. I will give you that. There are some really good games on PlayStation that are exclusive to that console, but they're not.
Fanboy, though.
Yeah, true.
And that's
every
just
time
though.
Like I'm playing a game, it's like this would look so much better on PC.
And that's true.
That's why I bought Red Dead 2 on PC because it's gonna look good on there.
It'll look good on there.
Plus, the 2060 Super Graphics card that's coming is going to help too, make it look a little nicer. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Again, though, we're keeping this to the conversation and understanding of let's base this on someone who can't afford that 2016 graphics card you're talking about, Greg. You know, that card alone costs as much as the console.
I know.
So
I feel like, look, I think the Xbox Series X is very interesting, and I think that if they're going to be announcing their exclusives this week, that is going to be a really exciting announcement for people who are Xbox fans. I am not particularly an Xbox fan. We all know this on the show. I've always said this. I'm just not comfortable playing it. I don't have any negatives to say about Xbox. It just doesn't suit me. I don't like the user interface. I don't like the controller. Like, I don't like the buttons. That's only because I've grown up with PlayStation, so I am brainwashed in that way.
PlayStation 2, though.
I think. Yeah. It's also what you're used
to. I grew up with
like,
every PlayStation.
I just bought like a PS3 to play Red Dead 1, and even I'm like going, wow, this is really different. But it's just, again, it's what you're used to. Like, in the interface with that is a lot more complicated than what the PS4 is.
Well, so, that even speaks to what I'm saying. If you grew up playing PlayStation and you're like, okay, this is what I know, so this is what I'm going to stick with.
Yeah.
So you just keep buying PlayStation, even though it's becoming an inferior platform. That to me just doesn't make sense.
People that continually buy iPhones, like me, it's not.
Yeah,
they're compared to Samsung, but I still like their operating software compared to Android.
But the PlayStation,
even though I know it's not a quality phone in comparison to a Galaxy.
Yeah, but in your opinion, it does. I don't. The thing is, like, I don't like.
Everything out there is preference.
Yeah,
I know.
It's just what you like, what you grew up with. But also along with that, what Dan was saying, there are facts about there are pros of each console and negatives, which Dan was talking about, and every console has that in some way or another. So really, there's a fanboy on everything. Like me, PC, Dan's Xbox, you guys are PlayStation. You know, there's people that love the Nintendo stuff. You know, it really just depends on like what your preference primarily is. But regarding news, Xbox definitely is knocking it out of the park versus PS5 for sure.
Absolutely. And I feel like it's going to be so interesting with Xbox Series X games announcement this week then, because
it's going to put the pressure on PlayStation.
Hellblade 2, holy shit. Like I was like, what the fuck is this game? I need to go play the first one. Like, this looks incredible. So with this now, like when I see all those adverts and stuff like that when they're coming out, I'll probably be like, Adam, we need to start saving for an Xbox Series X because we may need to get some of these games. Because
well, that's just it. That's why Microsoft's been gearing up for this for a long time. They're like, we need to compete with PlayStation on the level of their top tier games that they offer. Because Xbox has a lot of top tier games as well, but they are more specifically like either racers or shooters, and they don't hit that action adventure market as hard as PlayStation does, and that's what most people, connect the PlayStation to are the single player action adventure games that have these amazing story driven narratives. And as much as I agree that they are amazing games, I also don't think they're perfect. I think there are flaws in those games. And again, I'm trying to kind of bring myself back to ground zero here as far as, I have a PlayStation. I'm going to get a PlayStation 5. I'm sure I am. I'm going to want to play the exclusives on that system because down to the nitty gritty, I'm a gamer. I'm going to play as many games as I can on as many platforms as I can to experience everything. I'm not going to say no to the PlayStation. It's just for me, the Xbox suits my preferences better. And I'm very excited to see what they're doing to just speak to me as an Xbox gamer, really.
Sure. I feel like that's a very exciting announcement. Like, it's huge.
I can't wait.
In terms of other game news that has come back this week that were on this topic, The Last of Us 2 had spoiler leaks.
Yeah.
And we saw a little bit of that in live chat. I don't know if anybody saw it. Like, it was just like being popped off in live chat. The thing is, like, I didn't see any actual spoilers. Anytime I saw, it's usually a gray name, and like I hate to discriminate against like non-subscribers, but I just mean like people who are popping in as trolls are usually under gray.
They're just randoms. That's it.
Yeah.
They're randoms.
Yeah, and then they would just have, if it started with anything with Joel, Ellie, or TLOU, I was like, skip.
Yeah.
But a lot of fans, a lot of replayers had a lot to say about it in live chat. And I feel like they might not participate in any of the live chats going forward, or less and less people will, which is unfortunate because it's just something that you just can't avoid. Same with like Troy, I believe he does live streams on Instagram on Saturday and Sundays. And I guarantee
spam his live chat.
Fucking Instagram this week.
Well, that's where I first saw the spoilers. I think was on there, and it was like, this isn't the place for it.
Yeah, it's so bad. Like, it's just people trolling, and they just want to try and ruin everything for you.
Yeah, I saw it on his Instagram first, and then when he was doing his music thing or whatever he was doing.
Even what they were saying, it was very broad.
Yeah.
So you still don't know the story, you don't know the progression, you don't know the how, the what, the when, the why, the who. You don't know the journey it takes to get you to that boiler point, which most people probably figured was going to happen anyway. So I'm not too worried if I haven't seen anything else other than this happens on those little feeds. I've been really good at. I've removed my Twitter, so I can't see anything.
And I talked about this with Grace on our podcast. One of the leaks supposedly that's in it, I already knew was probably going to happen anyway, so I'm not really too bothered by it. But
I think
I know
that's part of the problem
who...
is the Last of Us community is such a sensitive group of people to the story because they care so much about these characters that they're afraid of what's going to happen. So the spoilers are a confirmation of what they're afraid of.
They want to be in denial first.
I mean, I love this game. I'm really passionate about the game, more so than what Greg is. But again, it's you don't know the journey that it takes to get you there. And without the context and the emotion behind it and the story and the elements and everything, all the gameplay together, I don't really mind if I see the occasional spoiler because
it doesn't spoil the game.
It's not spoiling the experience of playing the game.
Right. Exactly. Yes. And that's something that people need to remember.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say it's here somewhere, but I guess it's not here. I think maybe it's on his Twitter. But Neil Druckmann also released a similar statement, Sarah, where it's if you do see spoilers, that is unfortunate. And it's so shit for the game devs and everything that were involved in that game to see that happen. But ultimately, it will not ruin your experience. Here we go. It was a press release from Naughty Dog. We know the last few days have been incredibly difficult for you. We feel the same. It's disappointing to see the release and sharing of pre-release footage from development. Do your best to avoid spoilers, and we ask that you don't spoil it for others. The Last of Us 2 will be in your hands soon. No matter what you see and hear, the final experience will be worth it. I feel like that speaks to everybody. I feel a lot of people are very sensitive about the content, like you guys are saying. But yeah, I feel like if you accidentally come across a spoiler, yes, it fucking sucks. But also, don't get so disheartened about the game. The game is still going to be so incredible when you pick up the controller and are controlling Ellie for the first time.
Yeah. A 1 or 2 line spoiler doesn't change a 15-hour campaign of emotions and feelings.
Yeah.
The spoiler's unfortunate, but you shouldn't cancel playing the game just because of those couple of spoilers. You have a 15, 20-hour game depending on whatever else is in there and replay value to enjoy the game. Plus, when you play it, you already know if whatever was leaked, if it's true, you already know that's going to happen when you play it.
Yeah.
So, so when you play it again, you already know what's going to happen. So what's the point of really getting super, I get why you're upset, but you're going to enjoy the game regardless.
I feel I am sensitive to the topic as well. I really like it the same way everybody else does. If I saw a spoiler, I would probably be a little bit upset by it or a bit annoyed. But at the same time, overall experience, like Dan says, 15, 16, 20-hour experience, whatever it is, it's still going to be incredible to play. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just wanted to drop that little tidbit of news in at the end there.
At least we know that Last of Us is going to be here soon.
True, the 19th of June now, right?
And we have a date again.
New release date, 19th of June.
So we got pushed up an extra couple weeks, but yeah, it'll be here before you know it.
There you go.
And it's Friday in New Zealand, so I have the day off. I don't work Fridays. So I'm like,
she's like, I'm next.
I know what I'm gonna do.
So I'm gonna watch her play it.
Yeah, I feel like I need to book a few days off and just be right, let's just get in the mode.
Was hey, maybe we could play a chapter or a bit each and then swap. And she was like, no. Nope. I'm playing it from start to finish. You can watch, but no.
Yeah.
Nope.
Maybe the second time through.
Yeah, same.
But no.
I'm just keeping my mouth shut now.
Yes, Dan?
No, I'm not talking.
Would you like to share with the class?
No, I'm shutting up now so you can wrap things up.
Oh, okay. Yes, thank you so much for joining us, Greg and Sarah, Dan and Brandy, as our beautiful retro replay couples. From around the world, from across the world. You guys are all beautiful and wonderful. Greg and Sarah, congratulations on your engagement and very best of luck on your wedding. We'll be in touch, obviously, because I talk to you every day. So, yeah. But from the Replayer Podcast, thank you so much for joining us today and very best of luck. Dan and Brandy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Pagan.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thanks for putting this whole thing together.
If anybody is looking to find you on socials, or if there's anything that you would like to promote that you're engaged with at the moment, now's your time to do it.
I get it.
That's why I was engaged.
Pun not intended, but I'll take it.
Engaged.
Would you like to promote anything on socials, Greg and Sarah?
We have our Instagram, The Adventures of Greg and Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I am on Twitter at thegreg007, as I mentioned before. And as I mentioned earlier, Grace Frick, Giff, and Grace and I have a podcast. I think she mentioned it prior when she was on, but it's The Greg and Grace Show. Currently, it's on Anchor. Somebody played it on Spotify, so I guess it goes over there.
Anchor distributes to all platforms.
It's on Spotify
and
and Apple and everything. Yeah.
Just type in The Greg and Grace Show podcast, and it should pop up. Or I just posted the 4th episode last night as us recording this, so I'm her and I are both enjoying them very much. So we're enjoying doing those. So I think that's it, plus our Instagram. So yeah,
it's a good show. Like your podcast is really nice. It's just kind of like listening to friends over coffee discussing news, relevant news in the world today.
That's what we wanted to go for, so thank you.
You're welcome. Dan and Brandy,
would you like to share anything?
No.
All right. So, anyways,
no.
Oh my god, it's such a mood, Brandy. I love it.
No thanks.
Nah.
Sorry. I had
Genuinely, no. Just no.
I'm waiting. No. I mean, I'm gonna plug my usual stuff as far as my Twitch channel now goes. As far as trying to nail down a schedule of Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Wednesday should be co-op night. Friday is gonna be my night to play. Tonight, I'm gonna be playing some Godzilla. So I expect Greg to be there, maybe some Bo Yorty. Shout outs to all those guys. And Sundays is our Zombies and Coffee morning show where we play zombie games and drink coffee. And you can find me on Twitter. It's Starkey Vash. I don't hate you. I'm just trying to share the joy
of zombie
games and shooting them in the head.
Poor Brandy is just like, oh god, another zombie game.
They never end.
Jesus.
They never end.
As soon as you're gonna get finished with this, you're like, oh, that's fantastic, that's over, and Dan will be there.
Here's the
yes,
next
and now
one.
we have all of these, and then just shows you a list of zombie games.
Dan literally has a list ready for Brandy, and Brandy's like, fine.
No, this weekend's gonna be a fun one. I think.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have fun this weekend.
Yeah,
We're mixing it up a little bit.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go.
Is
That
it
sounds
like?
fun.
Are you gonna drop us a sneak hint here, or just?
I will
Just
drop
that
a
is
hint
it.
on my own, medias and whatnot, but not here.
Ooh.
Stay tuned. Check that out. You guys can catch all of our socials in the links below, but you can usually catch me at Pagan_plays on Twitch and Appleize2 on Twitter. And Instagram is the same at Pagan_plays. I stream at the moment every Tuesday and Thursday at around 8 p.m. GMT. On Tuesdays, I stream God of War. And on Thursdays, I'm now streaming Rise of the Tomb Raider. And it's going really fucking well. So thank you. I love that game. That's kind of all from me. You guys, anything else that you guys want to say or check in?
I don't
Good.
think so.
You guys are all going to stay together after the podcast. I presume it's...
Oh yeah, I'll keep him for a bit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Gotta make use of that wedding dress.
I was going to say... You might as well, just until like the 2nd of June.
I don't even have a.
Then you're good.
I don't have a tux yet, so hopefully when because we're currently at an alert level 3 here now, so hopefully in a couple of weeks or so
Stores will open.
so I can get a tux. But I told her worst case scenario, I just come out in a tuxedo t-shirt.
You don't even fit though.
I will.
That is perfect.
That's more easier to obtain than getting a tux custom fit.
See now, Greg, what you need to remember is you live in New Zealand now with Sarah, and like Richard McGonagall, she's got lots of property to hide bodies, so...
Yeah.
You just see the backyard. I've already looked at plots for sure, so...
It's just...
God. It got really
There's
dark
also a
here.
shed in the back that the cats bury stuff in, so...
Yeah, one of my cats is a klepto, so he would like go steal other neighbors' socks and then drop them in the shed.
God, is that real?
He also may be gay too.
Yeah, so
We
he's
haven't
sensy.
figured that out yet.
Cool.
He's wee sensey.
Yeah.
Keely.
Aw, that's kind of adorable that he
Great
steals
time
other
here in
people's
New
socks.
Zealand. Come on down. When
What a
you can.
mischievous cat. That cat's probably like the menace of the neighborhood. Everyone's neighborhood like, hey, did your sock goes missing by any chance? Did anybody else? Yeah, funny enough that you say that. Yes, I do. And poor Sarah's sitting there like,
It's
did
all in the
it?
shed.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm
That's
so sorry to hear
unfortunate.
that.
Sock goblin.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate
The sock
circumstance.
epidemic
Anywho,
of
and like
New
shrinks
Zealand.
back into the shed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us again. And also want to shout out to the entire cast and crew of Retro Replay. Thank you so much for working hard and bringing us quality content every week. Without you, the Replayer podcast wouldn't exist. So we hope you've enjoyed our podcast. And if you'd like to hear more from us, please go ahead, like and subscribe, rate and review, and provide comments. And if you have any suggestions or questions, please feel free to pop them in an email or hit us up on socials at thereplayerpodcast@gmail.com. Facebook and Twitter are also The Replayer Podcast. You guys can hit us up there, and we upload videos every Wednesday, and the audio comes out every Monday. That's it. That's game over, folks.
We did it.
Thank you for joining. Bye. Do.